It's time, it's time, it's time, it's time, it's time. It's Tasty Tuesday once again, and I am super duper 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 thirsty. Hope you guys have had a decent week. It's been a fast one this past one. Work's been busy, but things are good. And we're going to be taking a look at a couple fun ones today. Um, a distillery that is not as well known, I'd say, as others. And this time we'll be looking at the old Glencadam. And these guys are in the Highlands. And oh, hey, Daniel, good to see you, man. Thanks for stop by, Cohen. We're taking a look at the Glencadam Distillery tonight with Malt. Will be joining us here shortly. This is the Highlands Distillery, not very well known. Be getting into the weeds in a second. Let me send Malt his invite, which is off to the races. And hope you guys have had a good week. Malt here, good to see you as well. Um, have you guys had any Glencadam? What did you think? If you have not, this is the episode to watch. I have had a few different ones from this distillery before, and usually pretty darn good, I have to say, and not what you would expect from a Highland. It's definitely a lot more tastier. Is it tastier or a lot? I guess it would be tastier. It's tastier than other Highland distilleries that I've ran into. This has got a little bit of. Usually the profile's a little spicier than others, but not a whole lot. But kind of reminds me of Kregeliki, if you're familiar with those guys. They have kind of I would maybe say they're similar. They're not the same by any means, but they have a similar profile. Hopefully you guys are having a good time. I had the 13 Revival, but it was 3 years ago. Can't remember it. And a sample of the 15, which was great. Okay, yeah, we'll be talking about these in more detail soon. That Hey, good to see you, man. The 10 and 15, outstanding distillery, doing it right the right way. That's right. We'll be getting to that. The whiskey friend, good to see you. The fruitiest malt ever. Fruitiest. I do get fruit from their malt. I'm not sure if I'd say it's the fruitiest. I usually get a lot more fruit, just my own, um, subjective take. I usually get that more from like Space Sides, but not to say that you don't get a lot of fruit from these guys. It's kind of, to me, it's like a fruit spice combo. Oh yes, 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 it is, man. That's one of my favorites and one of the most underrated albums, I have to say, by the group. And I was just watching, ironically, and I was just watching an interview with Alex Lifeson, their guitarist, today, about them talking about possibly. It's not a guarantee by any means, but he's talking about working with Geddy Lee soon on some original material. I doubt they would ever call it Rush because of Neil Peart, of course, but that's a whole nother channel. And looking forward to hearing what they might come up with later on. Might beg to differ. Yeah, Aaron is very fruit forward in a good way. On a dry spell since last week's streams. That's okay. We all definitely need a dry spell from time to time. That's how it usually goes. These guys, if you're not familiar, they're run by the Angus Dundee group, which the only other distillery these guys own is the Tool. You might be familiar with Tool. They I've done a couple of their stuff before. One pretty good, one not so good in my subjective opinion. That's, we'll get into that in a bit when Malt joins us, but it's going to be interesting. I do love, yeah, Glencadam. The familiarity is a nice touch. Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's with the spice that they bring. They also bring kind of like this earthiness that you don't really get anywhere else. It's very much its own profile. The closest thing I could think of is Kregeliki, and that's even stretching it. Speaking of stretching, What's up, man?
What's up, buddy? How we doing?
We're doing pretty good. Just welcoming everybody to the show. There's our friend from Hawaii, Mr. Juan Katia.
Yeah. Juan, buddy. Good to see you as always, my friend. Thank you for stopping through.
Quintanilla, I believe. Quintanilla. Hopefully, I'm not butchering his name. I'm not a master of Spanish by any means. I had a few years of French. That's about it. Did you take any foreign languages?
German, and I took a little Spanish, but I remember the German more for some reason. You know, the key with foreign languages is you got to learn them when you're young, because once I was in college, it was just in one ear out the other, unfortunately. I had a hard time with it.
The only phrase I remember is Achtung Keimträger, because I remember germ spreader. I used to call him a little kid a germ spreader.
Ausländer sprechen nicht gut Deutsch. Du bist ein Ausländer. You sprechen nicht gut Deutsch. Means you're a foreigner and you don't speak good German.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely admit that. I might pass for looking like one, but I definitely cannot sound like one.
Good to see you, Telex, man. Excited for this show tonight. I am fired up, man. We're gonna
hope you're thirsty.
I am. We're getting into some Glencadam tonight, my friend. This is gonna be good.
Have you? I was just kind of introducing these guys. They're run by the Angus Dundee Group, which they only do 2 distilleries. They do these guys, Glencadam, and they have also Tool, which neither one are really that well known. Have you had any Glencadam before that you like?
You know, that's a good point. And I was talking a little bit about that on my happy hour. I was like, you know, Glencadam is one of those distilleries that, you know, they remind me a little bit of Enoch, both in style or like Craigellachie. They remind me both in style and in like name notoriety. They're not distilleries that get a ton of attention, but they damn well should. I have had the 13, which we're going to be tasting tonight. I've also had the 15, which some folks were mentioning on the happy hour that it was like Ralphie's whiskey of the year a few years back, and for good reason. Really good pour. And they do things in the, you know, craft way. I mean, this is that 13 tube. I mean, real prominent, non-chill filter, no color added. Like they're very serious about that. I appreciate that. I mean, this 13 is bottled at 46%. I'm sure this 21 sample that you sent me is 46%.
Ironically, they both are at the exact same 46%.
Good. I mean, that's what you know. You and I were talking a bit about, you know, some of these distilleries, you know, coming in at 43 on the 21s. It's just, you know, you'd like to see it at 46% non-chill natural. You know, like that's a baseline that I think most folks who are getting into Scotch, or well, maybe when you're getting into Scotch, you can, you know, try some different stuff. But once you start establishing kind of like what you like in Scotch, you know, these are the things you want to look for. And Glencadam certainly delivers on that. So I'm really excited to get into these because I think, again, this is a distillery that doesn't get a lot of attention. There flies a bit under the radar, and you know, deserves more than they get considering the quality of the craft. So
you brought up a good point that I want to actually magnify. Wasn't aware of. These guys, even their 10-year-old entry bottle is at 46%. Now that is the way to do justice.
I mean, what else do you guys need to know, right? Like Glencadam deserves your money if that's the case. Now they're not always that easy to find, which of course comes with the territory.
True.
It's similar with a knock. A knock is not always easy to find. You know, Craigellachie maybe a little bit more, at least at 13. But you know, these are distilleries that I think this one is a Speyside. They're all kind of Speyside whiskeys that you just can't always find, but when you do, they're gonna give you your money's worth. Whether you like it or not is a different story, because they do have, you know, a bit of a unique style to them. But I think, yeah, if you're just searching for a quality dram and you're looking for non-chill natural color, no chill filtration, and 46%, well, Glencadam's going to check those boxes every time.
I just verified something I thought was really cool. Every bottle they release is 46%. It seems like, with the exception of one
Speyside.
Yeah, with one exception of a cast strength one, which
they're not. They're Highland. They're a Highland whiskey. I apologize.
But with one exception of a cast strength, which I'm not going to complain or bitch about that. But yeah, every bottle, even this new one, they just released this one, and I think I might have seen it, but not at the store. But I think I've heard of this. It's the Reserva Andalucia. It's like a new NAS that they released. It's the first Phil Oloroso cask finish. It's NAS, but it's 46%, like all their other bottles, and it's just released in September of 2020. So this is something new to maybe try on the side for all of us. Because I've like you, I've had the 13, and I've had the one other one. I don't think it might have been the 15 at one point a long time ago. But I'm surprised how many they have a quite a range. I was looking back, and
they do. They really do. Yeah.
They've got the 13, like we talked about. Like, I'm sorry, they started out well with the NAS, the Reserva Andalucia. They got the Origin 1825 as another NAS.
Yeah, the Origin. That's one I've seen. Yeah,
that's. I think that's the other one actually I had before, and it was pretty decent. It was okay for, it was what you would expect for an NAS entry level. Never tried the 10, but they have a 10, 13, 15, 17 triple cask portwood, an 18, and 19 Oloroso cask finish. Now that sounds excellent.
They just put one up for every age statement you can get, right?
And they have a 21, a 25, and a single cask. So they definitely cover the gambit with a couple good NAS entries. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different age stated whiskeys and a single cask. So you can't really complain about that, can you?
No. You definitely cannot. I'm going to get my 13 in the glass, but while we're doing that, have you got yourself anything new over the last week to share with the folks?
I did. I was lucky enough to find a big, like a fire sale for Highland Park, and I went a little nuts. I picked up the classic Fire, which is a 15-year-old that was out a good 3 or 4 years ago, at least, if not longer ago. I had one in a tasting when I first kind of started doing my whiskey journey with Highland Park. Lucky enough, and I liked it enough to go back for an actual bottle, especially since it was on sale. So Fire and Ice is here, and also the Dark and the Light. I found a really good. That's two 17-year-olds that were after the Fire and Ice. They did the Light and the Dark, and those 17-year-olds are pretty damn good too. But we'll have to take a close look at in the future.
Yeah, I haven't had any of those, so I'm looking forward to that for sure.
What about you? Did you pick up anything? I know you're always picking up stuff.
Man, dude, it's been a week to remember. I got my hands on 2 bottles of Ardbeg, the Ardbeg Day 2012 distillery release.
Oh man,
release.
You had 2 of those?
I got 2 of them, and we're gonna drink that for sure, my friend.
Oh man, one of them might hopefully be for sale sometime.
One of them might be for sale. Yeah, we may have to talk about that. I got real lucky with that.
Yes, you did, because I don't have that one. I never even tasted it, never seen it, nothing, man.
Yeah, nor have I. So I found them, and I just had to do it.
I think I just got goosebumps.
I got a couple interesting Kalilas. I got a 2013 and a 2016 Ficio release Kalila.
Oh wow!
So we'll dive into one of those relatively soon. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. In addition, I got the Kilhoman USA Batch 3, which I actually did a sample of on my whiskey channel, on my happy hour, which is like 50% port, and then it's a triple maturation, 50% port, and then it's like I think 40% bourbon and 10% sherry.
Wow,
it's really good. I think you'll really enjoy that. We'll do a sample of that one. I got the Talisker 15 cast strength.
Oh man,
weird for me, right? Why would I buy that? Being not a huge Talisker fan, but I had to do it.
I bet you'll like it. I have a feeling, because you like the Distiller's Edition at least. So.
I like the Distiller's Edition quite a bit. Yeah, for sure. So I'm excited for that one. I got a Ben Riach 17's Septon Decim, which is a heavily peated Ben Riach, which I think you probably have had before. I wouldn't be surprised.
I did, and it's really good. I think you'll be in for a treat.
Good to know.
I'm surprised of how good their peat actually at Ben Riach actually is. I didn't have a bad one there.
Yeah. And of course, yeah, the Kilkerran 16, which, you know, I got one put away for you. We'll be going that way. And then I got a Balachin, two Balachins. One is a straight from the cast 10, and then one is a cast strength 11.
Nice.
So a couple Balachins, so we'll dive into those eventually too. The only other one I'll mention is this one. This is a Deanston, 28 years old. It's 1991, and it's Muscat cask finish. So it's got 2 years finished in Muscat. It's a 21-year-old. I got a super good deal on it, so I had to buy it. I can only imagine this is going to be really good, but I haven't opened it yet. So we're going to have to give this a good taste at some point. It's 45% non-chill natural. So
forgive my
old Deanston, man, with a Muscat finish.
And forgive my ignorance, but I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. The Muscat, the Muscat and the Muscatel are two totally different things, right?
Yes, they are. Yeah, definitely.
Is Muscat like a red wine or white wine, or?
It's a red. It's closer in the like Oloroso side. Well, it's closer in the like Madeira side, I think. If
gotcha.
Describe it. I don't know. It's it's kind of.
There's so many wine differences.
It's like, like Malaga, where it's kind of in the middle between PX and Oloroso. This one, yeah, in a similar vein.
Nice. I didn't even know these specialized ones like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So we'll do that down the road at some point in time too. So that'll be fun. And yeah, so I'm excited to get into those Highland Parks, man. And got a few to share with you too. So we got a lot of stuff coming up.
It reminds me, I did pick up a couple small bottles for us. I've got your favorite distillery, Auchentoshan's American Oak. just for something for us to do while we take a look at the 21 down the road. So we'll have a little bit of entry level American Oak, and we'll have a big 21 to see where things fall. And then I also picked up the Deanston Virgin Oak on the side, just for
nice,
something good to compare. And I tell you what, I've been sipping that one, and I'm trying to control myself because it's a really good taste.
Dude, I've heard that. You're not the first person to say that to me. That is like seriously good stuff. And really, really cheap.
And it's amazing. I'm like tasting it with the Auchentoshan American Oak, with the Deanston Virgin Oak, which are really comparable as far as price.
Yeah,
but man, the quality is like night and day difference. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I am thirsty though, man.
All right. Yeah, I see the chat's popping. We got a bunch of good folks in. Oh, he said that Peter White said that Deanston 91 is a 90 on whiskey base. Oh yeah, cool. Good to know.
Oh, the one that you picked out.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one, man. That's gonna be fun. Believe it. I can't imagine it won't. Oh, I should mention one other thing. I got a GlenDronach cask strength batch 2 from like 2011 or something like that.
Oh my goodness, man!
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably not nearly as good as the newer ones. I don't know, but I had the opportunity, so I had to snag it. So we'll have to check that out at some point. That'll be interesting.
Good to see you, Chris. Thanks for joining the evening show tonight.
Hey, Chris. Good to have you in the house.
Ooh, he just got his first Balakin. The Ultimate Van Vies Balakin 2008. 11 years second fill sherry cask. Nice. Oh man. Yeah. I don't want to give it too much away, but I cannot wait till we do our Edgedour show, man. It's going to be insanely good.
Yeah, because you're bringing the thunder for that Edgedour.
Oh man.
The freaking 21, man. That's going to be off the chain.
This is it's definitely opened my eyes to that distillery. Not just the Edgedour stuff, but like you said, the Balakin stuff is really good. That's their
I'm a fan, man. The Balakin stuff is the heavily peated stuff, and yeah, it's great.
That's some of my favorite. Yes, and we were saying we're going to be doing some decent shows upcoming. And we've done one before where we took a look at the 20-year-old. If you haven't seen it already, check out our show about the 20-year-old Oloroso. And I think we did another one with that, didn't we? I can't remember.
We did the we did the 2008 9-year-old Bordeaux, the red wine Bordeaux matured one. Was
We both enjoyed that one pretty much.
yeah, that was in my top 5 whiskeys of the year last year.
Oh, there you go.
That stuff. That was my number 5, if I'm not mistaken. That was great. That was great stuff.
Gene Hackman's favorite is Proper 12.
Gene Hackman's in the house. What's wrong?
If it was only the real one, man, that would be like that. I love The Enemy of the State, man. It's one of my favorite movies.
I really love Gene Royal Tenenbaums, by the way.
There you go. That was a good one. That was a good one.
All right, shall we? We shall. Get into our Glencadam.
We got a sip. Hardcore, man. This is. I was looking. I just had the only reason I have this old bottle here is because I kept it from the original one that I had a while back, and Eric was gracious enough to let me have a little bit of his 13. So this is just my empty prop here, but you give them the tail of the tape.
Yeah, let's go through the tail of the tape. So Glencadam Distillery, 1825. It's a Highland malt. I was saying Speyside earlier. I was mistaken. This is the tube of the Glencadam 13, and it's called the Reawakening. It has a lot to do, and this is what it says. In the autumn of 2000, Glencadam Distillery fell silent. This silence became the deep sleep for 3 years before they reopened, hence the Reawakening. This is a 13-year-old single malt Scotch from the Highland region, 46%, non-chill filtered natural color. They have a whole bunch of information on the back about how they use pot stills. Glencadam, look, I mean, if there was a distillery that emphasizes their craft of doing things the right way, a la Springbank, I'm not sure I've seen one that's more in your face about it than Glencadam. It says non-chill filter natural color right here on the bottom of the tube. It goes into a whole paragraph on how they non-chill filter and have natural color on that. It says it straight up here on the bottle. And look at the color of this, y'all. 13 years. I mean, that is a natural color if I ever did see one. This is bottle 2875 of 3,000. So apparently there were only 3,000 bottles of this. But I still find it, relatively easily at times. I am assuming this is all ex-bourbon cask. It does not say explicitly. But yeah, this is around a $60 to $70 bottle, so it's not super cheap, but it is also, coming in at a pretty fair price given this. And yeah, they talked a lot about their process on the back of here and so on and so forth. But I'm assuming this is all ex-bourbon.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was trying to do some ultra research, trying to dig, because sometimes these distilleries are really hush hush about what they do for their cask maturation or their finishing and what they're using. If it's a European oak versus American oak and all that, and you can't get anything on this bottle. Like you said, I mean, it was mothballed in 2000 for a few years. It reopened, and this was like a 6,000 bottle release, and that's all you get. But you can't find it. It is a little pricey if you're comparing it to a 12. But the cool thing about this bottle to me is this doesn't taste like any 12-year-old I've had across the board.
No,
it's its own beast, and it's well worth. If you could find it for 60, we'll get into the weeds in a little bit. But I think it's definitely worth a little vision quest if you want to take.
Yeah, I agree. And just for the record, it's apparently only 3,000 bottles, not 6,000.
Oh, they must have changed that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's what it says on here. I don't know, but it says the one that we're going to taste here.
Oh, someone asked me what my batch was earlier. I'm sorry, whoever asked that. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. I think what they did was they've done different batches with this.
Got it.
And let me see if there's a way to tell what I had previously on what's yours. Yeah, this one says 1676 of 3,000. So I don't have any more, unfortunately, of this particular juice. But it looks like you must have the second batch of this stuff, which is actually great. Because
this is bottle 2875 of 3,000.
3,000. So it is 3,000 on that.
Yeah, unsure. I don't know if they did 3,000 or if they did 3,000 in batches. It doesn't explicitly say batch, and they don't have a scan on it, so it's hard to tell. But in any event, it's apparently not something that's super, it's not core range in any way. However, I do feel like I see this, here and there for sure.
This is definitely more a prevalent bottle, I think, out of all theirs that you typically see on whiskey shelves in general.
Yeah. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
I found the code. Now, I'll read the numbers and letters out to you guys, and if you guys know if this what batch this is, please let me know. But we've got L17 02524 CB2.
Oh, you know what? I see it now too.
It's got 1105 2017 110517 on the bottom number. You should be able to get that flashlight out and see that.
I see it now too, man, and it's weird because they don't use a black writing; they use like white writing.
Etching,
so mine says L1702524 CB2 110517. So I think we're from the same
one.
Yeah, it's the same batch.
Now, if you're asking if I'm assuming that this is batch one, because when I looked it up on Distiller, they talked about 6,000 bottles being produced. So I'm thinking that Eric and I probably have batch one, and maybe there's a lot of batch two that's already re-released, possibly.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's an interesting anecdote. I couldn't tell you.
Peter just topped us. He's like, I'm drinking 14 from 2013.
Well, what about the 13 from 2012 and then the one from 2011?
There you go.
All right. Well, this is what the color looks like, just for everybody at home. I mean, like clear, natural color here. Like they're explicit about it, and obviously, like this is not a chill or an artificially colored whiskey. I mean, this is what it looks like in the bottle. I mean, no orange hue to speak of. Looks really nice.
And Cohen, on that price, I think the first price you saw was 70, and now you're seeing it for 57. I think it depends on which coast you're getting it from. If you're getting it California, sometimes they're cheaper, and sometimes over here they're cheaper. So keep that in mind. But that's a good price at $57 if you see that.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say.
Well, since this is my pour, I'll let you start things off on the nose here, my friend.
Oh my, I cannot wait. It's been a good week, but I'm thirsty.
Yeah,
I'm just observing the nice run of the legs. It holds up pretty well, so I think we're going to have at least a medium mouth coat on this one. Ooh. One thing I love about Glencadam is it does remind me a lot of Krigelliki, where you have a perfect marriage of the first nose is a meeting of a little bit of white pepper, but with some really exquisite fruit. And some sweetness too, all at the same time. It gives you a savory note, a spicy note, and a fruity note, like all at once together.
Well said, man. I mean, the barley, like the sweetness off the malt. I mean, it's very malt forward. I get a lot of just like this smells like a hearty whiskey, despite the color, which may throw you off, despite the only 13 years, which
at least it's natural, right?
Yeah, no, right. That's what I mean. Like it's like,
ooh, I love the pear.
A lot of malt, like a lot of. It reminds me of like the Glenmorangie 15 Cadbull Estate, or like the Krigelliki 13, as you mentioned. A little bit of the bitterness, but just very malt forward, just like a very old school whiskey. It's got a little bit of that kind of funk to it too in the background, very slight.
And I'm getting like a pear with some vanilla custard.
Ton of vanilla, yeah.
Ooh, that spice is still hanging in there, but it's not overpowering, thankfully.
Floral too, right?
Yeah. That's another thing that they bring to the table that a lot of whiskeys don't usually get right. And this is a pretty complex strain for only being 13 years old.
Big time.
Just on the nose alone. And for them to put all these notes in there and to get not just the blend right, but the balance of the intensity of all the things together correctly, that takes a lot of skill, man.
Man, I totally hear you. You know, the other things I'm picking up, shortbread cookie. like white vinegar, like white wine vinegar, not white vinegar, white wine vinegar, like a bit of that tart sharpness. But then the shortbread cookie thing, I mean, if it's Girl Scout cookie season, y'all have probably got some shortbread cookies around your house. This like it is just exploding out of this. The warmth, the graininess, it's really nice.
Getting like a medium level, like almost just like a strawberry fruit too.
Wow. Yeah. No, I hear you on that. Strawberry shortcake kind of thing.
Yeah. A little whipped cream in there too. A little
killer nose, man. Killer.
It's amazing how it kind of, it's almost like a slow carousel where, when you're riding the ride and you're getting the spice for like a little bit, and then it'll shift on and bring you lots of sweet fruit, and then all of a sudden I get like hay and grass and more of like a not like straightforward herbal, not straightforward floral, but kind of like a nice balance between the two sides. It's really wild.
Yeah, I hear you on the floral. The herbal is very subtle on this.
Yeah,
I get a little bit of it, and it's nondescript. I can't.
It's like the only thing I could put I call it like a pine,
yeah,
not a needle, but like those pine cones.
Not like a gin, but because it's got a little bit more of that kind of depth to it.
It's not as much as juniper, but it's like a pine nut. Pine nuts. That's what I'm getting. Sure. Wild.
Great nose. I mean, fantastic nose on this.
And this is all neat. We never touch it at the beginning. We always go neat and enjoy it as much as we can first. I'm going to have a little sippy sip.
Let's enjoy it. Cilantro.
Wow. And it really flows from the nose. It's like a good balanced meal. You go from the nose to the palate, and it's exactly what you are expecting it to be, but even better. Oh man, those bourbon cask notes, and I think you're right. I think this is probably more straightforward ex-bourbon. Really good ex-bourbon casks that are using this.
Yeah. Everything is subtle. Like, normally I would say like, oh, it's ex-bourbon because the vanilla note is so prominent. It's not. It's subdued. It's almost deeper. It's like, have you ever had like a coffee flavored frosting or a coffee flavored confectionery thing? It's where it's got a little bit of that maple syrupy vanilla and then a little of the earthiness. Like that's what you get on this. None of it is straightforward.
Hey, it's my buddy Rory. Rory, welcome to the channel.
Hey, Rory.
He lives up in Maine, in New Hampshire area, and has a tough time trying to find it. Yeah, if you can't, hopefully you live in a state, Rory, where you can order. I'm not sure about Maine or New Hampshire. I think New Hampshire you can order, if I'm not mistaken. I think they have some lax laws about shipping up there, don't they? I can't remember. But you should be able to grab a 13, I would think, pretty easy if you can't find it local. And Cohen's asking if I like or you like also chime in too, the Kilkerran 12. I do. Yeah. I prefer this a little bit more, I think, just because it's not. I love the Kilkerran 12. I think it's a great bottle. It still has a little bit of roughness around the edges. It's not something that I like, that I look down upon or that I discount. But I do prefer this dram.
Yeah,
you gave me like a shootout.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think if you were going to compare those two, yeah, I mean this has no edge at all. I mean, it's very rounded. There's a nice kind of light butterscotch. Everything is so in balance. Nothing is dominating anything else here. It is very
solid, good.
Spirit mash forward. Again, honey. There's a nice toffee note. There's this vanilla, but again, it's not just like your like bold in your face vanilla. It is much more like honeysuckle, like a maple syrup, like a light maple syrup vanilla. Like you ate like a bourbon ball or something like that, where it's like it's got a little bit more of the mixture harmoniously of the two. Again, nice finish. There's a little bit of brightness.
As I say, this has got like an effervescence that other 12,
Yeah,
13-year-olds
tropical
don't
fruit
have.
almost. It's almost like a tropical fruit thing, like generic tropical fruit, but has a nice body, honeycomb. Again, the barley, really nice. There is a slight mocha, maybe milk chocolate, but it's, again, really subtle. It's on the edges. It's just kind of working its way through.
There's so much good sweetness in here, even though there is a touch of what I would consider like a minerality. It's
Yeah.
perfectly balanced. It's
one
like
of the
it's
most balanced whiskeys I've ever had, to be honest with you.
And I think it's what makes it so special is that it's got so much in there, but it's not cluttered. It's not a mess. It's like
Right.
a very complex painting with lots going on, but it all makes sense in all the right places that's in the painting.
Yeah. Yeah, impressive stuff. And you get a little bit of it's bordering on like an ashy mint on the far end of the finish here. Just a little like charcoal, maybe not spearmint, but more like I don't know, just like a darker mint, like a god damn, I can't remember the name of it. You know what I'm talking about. It's not necessarily a sweet mint. It's more like a mint chocolate.
Yeah, perfect. To me, it's also got like the finish with that mint chocolate note. It's also got, and this is not a bad thing, almost like a maritime seashell brininess thing going on the finish too.
Yeah.
I really like the way it comes together with the cream, the vanilla, the white pepper note's still there, but it all comes together with that mint chocolate chip ice cream kind of feel.
Yes. Because the creaminess is there. I mean, really, really stellar stuff, man, for 13 years old.
I might have to put a little water on it,
46% non-chill fill natural. Yeah, I'm going to do a little water on this.
I'm going to save most of my sample for a neat one later, but just to say that we went through the motions. This one does not need water, guys. It's very enjoyable without, but we like to run the whole bases before we judge it, because sometimes you get a lot better, even more complexity with just a drop of water.
Wow, there's a nice freshness. There's a nice like fresh wood spice, and again like lemon cream pie kind of thing.
That's what I like about water sometimes, is it brings the wood, the oakiness out of the dram.
You're getting more of it now. Florals too, my god, ton of floral on this. I mean, and it's like really bright flower. It's not your lavenders. It's more like assertive than that.
Yeah, it's more in your face. I'm like, it reminds me of like a marigold or like a definitely honeysuckle.
Yeah, for sure.
But stronger, something that's got more presence to it. Wow. That is amazing. I'm getting some citrus now, some oranges.
Yeah, definitely. Lemon.
Like a lemon orange combination.
Orange too. Yeah, you're right. It's like mandarin orange.
That
like
is
orange rind, almost like orange rind, just like that. Really, like the slight bitterness that you get from like orange rind when you're peeling an orange.
Isn't it amazing that this is just a base? You would think would be a basic 13-year-old Scotch, and it's got so much going on in it.
Yeah, a lot of character. Crazy. This is a very characterful malt for sure. Just and I say that because of its balance. Now, water does definitely bring out more notes than others. I mean, you're getting lemon oil, like again, lemon zest. But I think, wow, what a balanced whiskey! It has a lot of character. All right.
Palate's still good too. Almost got like a cola note going on. That's wild. You know that bourbon cask is great when it can hold this long and even with water shine as much as it does.
I'm really surprised at how, for such a robust flavor, there's just no real alcohol burn. Those casks are great. even when it gets spicy on the end of the development, you just get this wave of like light caramel toffee note that just kind of smooths everything over. Juicy, mouth-watering finish. Fucking fantastic whiskey.
I'm surprised not since, I mean, you don't dislike spice, but you're not the biggest fan of a lot of spice in your whiskey.
It depends. Yeah, I mean, it really depends. I mean, I'm not a, I don't love me some young Taliskers for the heavy pepperness. I don't get a ton of pepper on this. It's there. The black pepper. Here's the difference with Talisker. The pepper note is so much on the tongue itself and like popping and spicy. This, it's like in the background. It's like I took a bite of soup. I'm eating some soup. I just took a bite of the soup, and that soup I put a bunch of black pepper in, and it's like that kind of accent. Like it's the whole mouthfeel. Like there's a little bit of robustness to it, but it's not assertive. I would say that this is one of the whiskeys I pick up black pepper on more than a lot of others. But again, it isn't like hitting me in the face. It's just kind of there.
It's not too assertive. It's like just enough to give it that balance of that sweetness and that minerality and that the fruits, the citrus, all the craziness that's going on. It's amazing. I love the fact that you can get it, the pine nuts and some of the florals and, all the stuff that's going on. It's crazy.
Pine nut. That's interesting. I don't know if I'm noticing that quite as much as you are. I would say it's subtle. I'm getting more of a coconut thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
A bit more on the sweeter side. There's a bit more of a dry coconut thing going on.
I see where you're coming from on that. Yeah,
but I know what you mean. I mean, it's almost like German chocolate cake. If you've ever had that.
Yeah.
Fun fact about that. You know why it's called German chocolate cake? It ain't because it's German, because there ain't no coconuts in Germany.
I forgot. I thought. I can't remember. Go ahead.
The guy that created its last name was German.
Oh, isn't that crazy? That I grew up. It was one of my favorites when I was younger, and I always thought it was from Germany. I always thought it was from Germany. There you go.
Tell me if you're getting a little bit. Have you ever had like ham with clove in it?
Oh yeah.
Are you getting any of that in here? Like again, kind of in the background, that kind of the sweet, savory juiciness of like a Black Forest ham or something like that. Mm-hmm. Just kind of there a little bit.
With a peppercorn. It's got like a peppercorn finish.
You're right about the peppercorn. You're right on about it.
I was trying to think of what that was called. I was like, I'm getting this note, and I was right along with you for the ham and the. That's wild, man. It's quite this journey this whiskey is definitely like a journey in a glass on its own.
Oh yeah, it is. And through our tastings, Telex, I mean, one thing I've learned from you is, one of my kind of tasting blind spots has always been kind of the floral or the pepper, like the accent, like the kind of fullness things. And I've been working on trying to focus on those more, and I'm definitely picking it up here in spades, man. And that's just yet another reason why this is so fun. I really am like, you've always had such a keen nose and palate for the florals, and boy, am I picking it up on this. And then again, those peppercorn notes. This is a stellar
man. It is, and it goes to show. Even for $55, if you find the right bottle, it'll definitely. I mean, this is one of those whiskeys that, since it does have so much going on in it, I don't think you would go through it very quickly. I think you would pour it and enjoy it for like a good, half hour to an hour.
That's where I'm at. I mean, I'm like maybe a quarter of the way through.
It didn't last very long.
It's not a session whiskey. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a sweet sherry bomb where you're going to pour 4 or 5 grams and you can just go at. This is not that whiskey, man. This is a change of pace whiskey. This is a like slow your roll, take a second, and like it slows you down.
It reminds me a lot of Inch. If you ever get a chance, if you like this kind of thing, definitely go for an Inchgauer 14. It's really, really, really well done, and one of the most complex but yet subtle whiskeys that's out there that it's not for the novice whiskey drinker. If you haven't been around the bases, at least with each region already, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you have done your regions and you feel like you're pretty well versed, you're ready for an advanced scotch, definitely look out for the Inchgower 14. I don't think you'd be disappointed in that one too.
Yeah, man. Dude, I'll tell you right now. I mean, I'm going to let you go first on your final thoughts, but for something in that 12, 13 range where we're talking, what is this, $55 to $65. Yo, I mean, name 3 whiskeys you think are punching above this. I mean, this is Springbank 10 level in terms
Yeah,
of,
it is. It really is. The craft alone is like
Ben
way up
Romick
here.
10. I mean, this is Ben Romick 15 level in terms of like the complexity you're getting off of this, the quality of the craft, the subtle notes, how harmonious this is. I mean, stellar stuff, man.
Oh
I don't know what else to say. I mean, like,
it's mesmerizing.
One of those things where it's like, I won't pour 3 drams of this in a night. Like, I'll maybe do 2. Like, this isn't a whiskey that, because it demands your attention, because there's so much going on and everything is so subtle and balanced that you're kind of, if you're you're in that kind of intermediate to higher level like whiskey taster, like, you're going to be paying attention to this. It's not something you can just kind of sip away on. And
it's always changing in a good way too. It's like that revolving carousel thing, like I talked about. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, really, man, really. I mean, high praise for this one. But if you're ready to go, I'll give you the floor to share your final thoughts, and then I'll jump in, and then we can. I'm actually, while you're doing that, I'm going to get ready with my Glencadam 21, because holy crap, I can't imagine what this is about to do.
Yeah, I think we're going to be in for a treat on that too. I poured a little earlier. I got mine sitting out for the next hour later, and but this, man, it's like, I mean, this is so good, the 13 itself, that you don't really need to go crazy on unless you've got the money already for an 1821 type deal. You definitely could get your foot in the door with this and know if you're going to fall in love with this distillery. And if you don't, I would be surprised because of how good it is. It's definitely well above most 12s of any distillery that I've had. It is kind of a one-off as far as, the 6,000, 3,000, whatever limited, type of release that they do. But if they do these in batches, and if it's like a yearly thing where they only release so many a year, I think, everyone will be in for a good treat for quite a while. This should be, I think, on everybody's bar, but just don't be surprised if everyone doesn't love it as much. I have given this to a couple of people that were newer in their whiskey journey, and I don't think they appreciated it as much, only because they didn't know how to get all the other nuances that some of us are able to get out that have been around the block a few more times. So I would not give this to somebody new per se, but if you are, getting into Scotch and you want something that's just a good quality dram to say, hey, this is where you can go eventually. I wouldn't go there right away, but eventually this is a good one to at least get to at some point. It's not a typical Highland by any means. The craft is superb. I couldn't fault them for, chill filtering. I can't fault them for coloring. I can't fault them for not putting a good age statement on there. And I can't fault them for putting a great ABV on there. So if you're familiar with, our friend Aquavite's ABCD of whiskey, it crosses all the I's, dots all the, I said crosses all the I's, dots all the T's. I must have had a few of these already. You know what I'm trying to say. It's solid, man. The age, it can get better with age, so we're not going to, give it a 5 out of 5 by any means, but it's definitely well above average. To me, as a 3, I'm already, I think, at a 4. I'm kind of around a 4.25 on this one, and I'm creeping up because I'm trying to think of other besides age. How could you make this whiskey any better of a whiskey? In how much better with age would it get? I guess we'll find out here in a little bit. But I think I'm going to stay at a 4.25, man. I think it's really damn good, solid, a little bit better than most 12s. I think that's where, and with the water, it didn't hurt it. It made it even more complex. It didn't
Yeah.
bring me down. I enjoy it neat, but I can enjoy it with some water too. I love that cola note you got at the end there. Yeah, 4.25 all day, man.
Right on. 4.25 from Telex. My final thoughts. I again, like this whiskey, like humble. This is a humbling whiskey. For somebody who like I like to think I'm kind of in that intermediate range of like my skill set in terms of tasting stuff, maybe a little bit more than that. I don't know. There's nothing in that younger age statement range that I think rivals this at the price point, which
Yeah,
again is $55 to $65. So I preface this by talking about it at price point. Um, I mean, nah. This is a challenging whiskey. This whiskey requires a like ability to pick up some subtlety and nuance that I think people who are in the beginning of their journey, who are like just learning how to notice the bold flavors and identify them, will miss. And so I can't say I'd recommend it for like somebody who's been just sipping a couple different, scotches over the last few years. I think this whiskey is for somebody who has been drinking 18s and has been drinking older stuff, and it has developed their palate to the point where they pick up subtlety in a way that they're able to recognize, and even more so than to recognize, appreciate. I think this is a single malt that like will really mess with your head, because you're gonna like say to yourself, how is this happening in a 13-year-old whiskey? Now there are whiskeys in that age range that are double the price. I'm thinking Lagavulin 12, whatever, that are going to give you the complexity. But like at a $60 average, $65 price point, I mean, this is unrivaled to me. I mean, Ben Romick 15, which is, $10 more, is another one that I think is kind of in this range. But this whiskey, I mean, it kills it, man. Like, even if you don't end up loving it, I feel like any like seasoned whiskey drinker is going to respect this. And that's what I think is so amazing about it. It is not a whiskey that I will drink more than a dram or two of because of that. It's just too much. Like I couldn't just sit back and knock these back and not be thinking about it, because it commands attention. So I'm stuck a little bit. I my gut instinct is that this is a 3.75 out of 5, which is like, you should definitely try this or pick it up at a good price. But because the price is so good, if you're in the right kind of wheelhouse and like, you're at this place where, you've had the 10 Springbank and you've been able to pick up some of the nuances, you've had some of the aromatic earlier stuff, and you're like, well, there's some uniqueness here I get. At this price, man, this is such a freaking quality dram, which makes me bump it up to a 4, which is a buy this whiskey. So yeah, I'm a 4 out of 5 on this. I really like. I can't sing its praises enough. I respect this, man. Like,
yeah,
this whiskey humbles me, man. It really does. It's a gut check on where you're at, and for the quality that this is bringing to the table. You show me any other 12-year-old whiskey at a $65 price point or less that can rival this in terms of its balance and complexity.
right.
I'll go out and buy it tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely one of those whiskeys that's perfect, I think, for our show, because this is like the perfect thing for folks like Dustin, Stephen Connor, that have been around the block many, many times. But some of these guys, they spend a lot of money on whiskey, and they don't like to spend a lot of money on whiskey that they're not going to, fall in love with. So some of these lesser known distilleries, they might not be so, fast on doing this, which I
Yeah,
understand. I'm
this
the same
punches
way.
above its weight. I mean,
This
this
one
is.
is
I think
good.
it's like regardless of like how much you end up loving it. I think it's uncontroversial that this whiskey punches above its weight for the price point. I don't think there's any I don't think that's debatable. I
Yeah.
really don't. It's that good.
I think we're going to be in for a treat. Jason loves the Glencadam as well, and really wants to try the 21. I think we're going to be in for a treat on
Yeah,
that.
here's one more look. This is the Glencadam 13 Reawakening. If you see it on your shelves, I've seen it at Total Wine for $60 some. If you know it's your time to get this, get it. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, and I would definitely, if you can always have one on the ready for those whiskey friends that have been on the journey with you, but they're not as well far off in the journey as you, but you're like, hey, one day you're going to get to this level where I'm going to pour you this and you're going to understand it. That's kind of one of those really nice things you can actually give somebody without spending a whole lot of money.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like I said, this is a humbling whiskey. This is a recentering whiskey. This is a respectable whiskey. Like, you just hats off, like
Yeah.
It's not an 18-year-old. It's not, it's not gonna like change your world, but for what they're bringing to the table with this at that price point, like,
it's hard to say no, even with experience.
Full respect. I gotta go get a water refill real quick.
Sure.
I'll be back, and then we'll talk. Put another freaking 8 years on this bad boy and see what we're working with.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. It's gonna be crazy. It's I pulled up some notes on the old. Let me get rid of the some of the old stuff here. Yeah, the 21, and they're a little bit more revealing with what they're using, and it is straightforward ex-bourbon cast type on the 21. So I assume that it's extremely close to this 13. We're going to find out. I'm hoping that it's just a better age, maybe a little more complexity somehow. I mean, it's already crazy complex. I don't know, it's kind of hard to say how is it going to get much better than what you've already got with your 13, but you never know. The 15 cost around 95, not the cheapest bottle I've bought, but that was the height of Ralphie's Waddy hype. WOTY. I'm trying to think of what that's going to. What is that, Jason? I'm missing the acronym on that one. WOTY. I'm sure it's something I'm just missing there. Kind of a different beast with the Springbank Green cast strength, yeah. Going back a little bit, Springbank 12. It ain't loses his crown to Glencadam, but the price is worth me buying a bottle of 57. Yeah, that's for sure. That is for sure. Let me get back in here.
What's up?
I was just looking at.
Yeah, what's up with our good people? I see some people saying absolutely Eric Whiskey of the Year. Well, I might have missed what we were talking about.
Oh, I asked him. He said the 15 cost him around 95. Not the cheapest bottle I bought, but that was at the height of risk of Ralphie's. I asked him what that means. I didn't know what the WOTY was, so that's why they were typing it out for me.
Coates. Let me share a little something. Saratoga Whiskey Wine Exchange. I think they ship everywhere in the country. They got the Glencadam 15 right now for like under 70. Grab it without hesitation.
That sounds good. That definitely
Andrew Page, if you're in the house, you know all about Saratoga. Grab that bad boy. But I'm telling you, man, this 13, the only flaw that I really can find in this 13 is that like I couldn't just sit down and drink it without thinking about it. Like that's the only flaw. Like if you and I were sitting on a porch, man, just hanging out, like shooting the shit about life, and I poured this, I'd be like, "Hey, wait, that's a great story, Telex, but
we gotta focus on this glass."
Like, are you noticing the nuances in this? Because it just commands your attention. Like, and that's not a bad thing. It's a very specific malt.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
man, great pour, great fucking pour. I can't. I want to buy everything in Glencadam's range. I
I
really.
didn't. I didn't know Ralphie was a fan, so I'm assuming that he had the 15 as his whiskey of the year
He
for one
did,
year.
yeah, like 3 or 4 years ago. I want to say.
Oh, okay. Well, I can definitely see why he picked them because they're no fucking joke. They're definitely no fucking joke because when I had that 13 as well, I was like, wow. I mean, it tastes like an 18 to me. It really
Yeah,
does.
man, dude, this Glencadam 13, yo,
I just hope that I'm not over getting over. It's like I feel bad for the 21 because it's got a lot to live up to.
I mean, it does, no doubt. But look, I think we can't deny reality here. Like this fucking Glencadam 13, man, this is one of the best young whiskeys I've ever had,
Yeah,
and that says a lot. It just, I mean, I would honestly say this is better than the Springbank 10. Like
yeah.
I almost think it's, and that's tough to say. I think Springbank 10 is one of the best young whiskeys you can get with an age statement. This is right
It's
there.
right up there.
It's right
It's
there.
definitely. I'd say it's more complex than the
Yeah.
Springbank 10. I do love the Springbank 10's profile as far as that funkiness, the Dunnage Warehouse, and all that. But yeah, I mean, as far as like a crafted whiskey, it's definitely hanging right there with it. If not better because of the money is great.
Yeah. So we had 4.25 out of 5 from Telex, the Whiskey Tech, and a 4 out of 5 for me for the Glencadam 13, the Reawakening, 46% non-chill natural. Get yourself this if you haven't already. I'm telling you, it punches above its weight. We both really enjoyed it. And now
Oh yeah.
we get to get into some serious Glencadam. I can't, I mean, if that's not a bookend, this is going to be. We have a 21-year-old Glencadam here.
Yeah, the only higher aged one they have than this, they do have a 25. I've never tried it. It's pricey as hell, but I'm not saying it's not worth it because I never tried it. But we'll definitely let you know what we think if it's worth even taking a stab at it after we try this one.
Yeah. What is the you want to share the tail of the tape on this? This is your pour, so I will
Yeah, before we go into the weeds on that, I wanted to ask you guys. There are other distillery that they're in Angus Dundee is the name of these guys that own them, and the only other distillery they have is the Toll, which it's known but not very well known. I've only had I've had two from these guys, actually three. I've had the 12, which is an Oloroso finish from Toll. I had
be right back.
a six. Sure, no problem. I had a 16, and I had the peaty tang, which was a peated whiskey, which I did not like the style of peat they used for that particular one. They might have a better peated one. Has anyone tried any Tools, and what did you think of them? I'm just kind of curious on the side as we're getting ready to take a look at this 21, but they've got a lot to offer. They just released a cigar malt Toll. Never tried it, but they have lots. They have like a Robert Fleming 30th anniversary release. They got a Syrida. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but they have some vintage stuff. They have 10, a 12, 14, 15, 16, 21, 25, and a 40, which I can only imagine what that probably tastes like. But I'm kind of curious about the Toll 25. Has anyone had it? And if you had, what did you think? Did you like it? Yeah, the PD Tang, man, was not my cup of tea there, Ben. I was not a fan of that one. But let's bring back Malton here. I was just curious what people thought. Have you ever had a Toll before by chance?
I've not. I've seen them at really good prices, and they got a bunch of different finished ones, sherry oak, and all this, and I've just never bought one. To be honest, I don't know enough about them. I've heard mixed reviews that they kind of don't live up to their standard. I just don't know, man.
Yeah, I've only had the 16, the 12, and the PD Tang. And for peat, wasn't my style. Did not enjoy the peaty tang. It was a little too tangy, if you know what I mean. The 12 was okay, and the 16 was okay. That they didn't really wow me. They do have a 25, so if I can find a really good price on it, I might give it a try. But yeah, it's one of those that I might be doing down the road. I was just kind of curious. So
Sure. Yeah. No, I've not had one yet, but always interested.
now this guy, thankfully, they are a little bit more revealing on this. They will tell you that this is ex-bourbon all the way. So I do think that the 13 is probably ex-bourbon as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's very similar bottling. Everything's very similar to this. The unchilled filtering, the no added coloring, the 46% ABV. So this could be the same stuff, just a lot older. It could be. Can't guarantee it, but this is definitely 21 years, 46% ABV, no added coloring, no chill filtering, and a Highland like no other Highland I've ever had.
Well, I'm eager to get into it. I'm beginning the nose now.
Go ahead, man. You go first.
Yeah, I mean, ton of sweetness. And we're talking like, you ever had Smarties candy?
Oh yeah, I love Smarties.
Like I'm getting some of that off of this. That's what the nose is like. It's that I don't want to use the word artificial because it sounds wrong, but it's like that incredibly like condensed sweetness, almost like condensed milk. And then behind it, you're getting some of the fruit notes. Again, it's apple, it's pear, it's a little bit of bright strawberry, very similar to the 13, the honeycomb.
Stronger, yeah.
But stronger for sure. And there's just more depth. And I'm trying to like unlock some of the depth in this. And again, it's a lot of sweet. There's some savory. There's the florals again.
Do you get like a marshmallow note? I'm getting like a marshmallow note.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's almost cotton candy, like like you get off a wild turkey.
Oh wow!
Incredibly sweet, sharp sweetness on the nose, and I don't mean sharp in a negative way. Wow, I mean just blowing out. I mean, it just explodes out of the glass with the sweetness. This is one of the sweeter. I mean, it is sugary sweet, but there's all this nice almost perfume quality to it. Again, the floral, it's very floral and very sweet, and then there's a bit of oak spice, like oak char in the background, that again very similar with the 13 where we were talking about that pepper note. It's kind of accenting it. It's like holding it in there.
Do you have a little 13 left to do a color, kind of a color?
Yeah. I got more than a little.
just a little splash. I'm just wondering if you could tell, because one thing I appreciated and noticed was that the color might be a little, like I'm talking like one shade darker on the 21, but it's not by a whole lot.
I mean, look at the difference. The 21 is this one, the more filled one, and then the 13 is the one next to it. I mean, yeah, look at the difference there. I mean, you're definitely getting a darker color here on the 21. Oh,
it just changed. All of a sudden, I went back for another nose, and I'm getting like a lot of different types of grapes. I'm getting white grapes and red grapes.
Yeah. Green grape, white grape.
Even red grapes. I mean, it's like a big grape, like tidal wave came through.
Have you ever had dolmades before? Like Lebanese grape leaves with usually have a vinaigrette on top.
That's exactly what that is, man. That's you nailed it on that one. Oh man, I haven't been to Lebanese Taverna in a long time. I will definitely go.
Lucky, man. I got a Lebanese grill and bakery a block away from here in West Philly, so I'm picking it up, man. It's right there.
It was the first restaurant I ever had like a whole fish prepared where they brought it out. It was so good, man. And they had some good whiskeys up there too.
They were serving whiskey at the Lebanese place?
Yeah, they had the Greek ouzo and they had all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah. They focused on the food, but the drinks were kind of all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, this is more. I mean, it's not as bright as the 13, which I think is part of what's makes a whole lot of sense given the age. I mean, something that kind of this is a sit outside in the summertime on your porch in a nice humidity. Like it's got that sweet honeysuckle citrus brightness, little saltiness even, but also has some good depth and body to it. It's a late summer night drink is the way I'm feeling about this.
Yeah, the brininess is still there on the nose too.
Oh man.
It's like being on the beach in the sea
Yeah.
spray.
Yeah, totally.
I can't get over how strong the fruits are on this one. And you would think that 21 years would tame some of these notes, but they're actually almost like they're on steroids or something.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they were able to get this out of this nose because the ABV is exactly the same. They didn't like boost it or they didn't like, dilute it. They didn't do anything to it, the ABV itself.
Apple pie, man. Like a
Oh,
nice apple pie.
with a really good crust too.
Yeah, totally. It's excellent. I'm going to go for a taste, man.
Yeah, I can't hold back. Same good mouth coat too. Medium, not waxy, but good level.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is much heavier on the mouthfeel. This is huge.
This is good.
Damn.
This is the way I like my whiskey.
Wow.
I guess I would say medium to heavy mouth coat.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There is so much going on here.
There's a nice savory note on this one you don't get on the 13, I think.
Agreed. It's mouthwatering. There's like a slight grilled meat quality to it. There's a ton apple, cinnamon, pear, even like a slight God, yeah, and then the vanilla, the toffee, slight almost watermelon. I don't know where I'm getting that.
Yes. There's melons, there's cantaloupes and watermelons
like
and honeydew.
Watermelon.
Hell yeah.
That mouthfeel is so much richer. It's not, it doesn't extend as long as I would have expected on the palate, but I would say that it's much richer than, it's much richer than the 13. There is a nice mocha caramel hazelnut kind of coffee thing going on. Incredible finish. Again, a 2-track finish, very similar to the 13, where you have, with the 13, it was like a vanilla and then a little bit of that juicy fruit citrus. With this, it's more of a darker oak spice, a bit more richer caramel, a richer toffee, and then a little bit of that white citrus. Very similar in profile, but this is just much richer.
The bourbon cask influence is even more prevalent here, which is really weird because usually when and Eric knows this, when we taste these aged whiskeys, usually you get more of like a refinement and you get more of like an antique-y kind of a taste, and it's a little maybe a little fainter, but you appreciate the age you get. Well, it does have age, but it punches you with flavor and profile. It's weird how it's almost like a cask strength whiskey without it being upped on the ABV.
Totally. Yeah. God, and that that fresh cut malt, like it is just so. This almost borderlines on unmalted barley. Like this almost reminds me of like an Irish Redbreast 12 cask strength. Not in the sherry notes, but like because there's a lot of sherry notes in the Redbreast 12 cask strength. But that unmalted barley note, which is just unmistakably Irish, like I almost get that on this. It's so fresh and so concentrated.
I think the craft is why we're enjoying this so much, is that they don't fuck with it. They don't.
Oh my God!
It's like. I think we might have a whiskey-gasm.
Dude, this is so good. This is so good. I'm sorry. All the words coming out of my mouth right now are just exclamation points. This is fucking killer, man.
It's its own little world. It's weird. I'm surprised that no one's ever told me on my whiskey journey. You know what? You got to get one of those older Glencadam bottles. No one's ever told me that, but I'll tell you what. I'll be the first person to tell other people you got to try it. Definitely once.
My God, the hazelnut, man. The hazelnut, the amaretto. You know?
Yeah, it's got this like almost amaretto.
There's almost like somebody put a drop of amaretto syrup or like a disanara, you know, like just a drop of it in your whiskey, or like somebody dropped.
Hold on,
what is it called? Manzanilla concentrate. Just like dropped it in, you know.
That Deserato thing, that's a liqueur, right?
Yeah.
That's the stuff that Claire Florani was pushing from Scotland a few years back, right?
Yep.
Oh, I was a huge Claire Florani fan back in the 90s, man. She was like my dream chick. I used to Meet Joe Black when that came out, dude. I went to the theater to watch that shit. I don't care. Shit. I didn't watch Brad Pitt the whole time. I was watching her, man. She was badass. Anyway, awesome, back to the whiskey.
Nah, dude, this is killer, dude. Again, though, this is a whiskey that, like, I mean, I'm looking in the chat, and what I see right now is Jason Coates, Ben Demon Hunter, Whiskey Ace. I know there are a bunch of other guys. Like, y'all would appreciate this. I wouldn't. This is not a whiskey that can be appreciated by somebody who's just getting into their single malt journey. There's no doubt. Like, this commands your, again, there's too much to appreciate. God, are you getting any of this? Like, have you ever had oolong tea? Or like black
Japanese black tea. Yeah. It's got the Lapsang Souchong.
Yes, jasmine rice. You know what I'm talking about? The fragrance of jasmine rice.
Oh yeah.
Cardamom, like not the intense flavor of cardamom, but like,
damn, he's like, dude, you're picking up some really good
notes.
There's
so much of that going on here. Like the fragrant, almost Indian spices, and again, it's like oolong tea. It's like cardamom. Like if you ate rice that had a little cardamom in it, man.
I actually got that from the Scotch for Dummies. I didn't get it from Jim Murray. They, Drew or one of those guys had a whiskey gasm one time. I forgot what they were drinking, but it just stuck with me. And when I saw him having his moment, I was like, "That's a whiskey gasm if I ever saw one."
Yo.
Oh, Samuel just picked up the Glencadam 25, man. Wow, I'm envious.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything like this 21,
I can't guarantee, but man, I guess we'll call it a poorgasm. That'll be the best way to say it.
Yo, I mean, Telex. I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. This is a wow. Yeah. This is a bottle of wow. Like this is. The last wow whiskey I had. I mean, I've had one wow whiskey in the last 6 months, and that was the Paul John Christmas Edition 2020.
Ooh.
Before that, I mean, probably Springbank 12 cask strength. Like this is.
Yeah. What about the Aaron 21? Was that kind of?
I mean, I like the Aaron 21, but I can't even think about Aaron 21 drinking this.
Wow.
Like, this is,
It's if it's not better, I definitely will put it right next. I guess it is a little bit better actually. Now that I think of it, because the spices and the complexity. It's
a lot of sherry in the Aaron 21. It's hard to compare, but
that's the only reason I'm kind of torn. But man, for a straight, I cannot think of a better representation of what you can do with an ex-bourbon cask with Scotch. You cannot find a better, I think, version of just a straightforward ex-bourbon cask whiskey than this. I really can't think of one.
I'm right there with you.
I'm trying to think of
this is an incredible whiskey.
It probably
I'm
is
gonna
one
go
of
with
the
a
best
couple
ones.
drops of water. I mean, I'm almost ready to go final score on this, but I'm gonna do a couple drops of water just for due diligence.
Someone's asking what the price on the 21 was. Let me see if I can
Yeah,
pull
that's
that
something
for
I
you.
was going to ask you too, because I need to know before I do a score.
I will get that for you right now, guys. And this was not hard to find for me, but I'm lucky to have a really good shop in Maryland here, where I'm able to get a lot of good whiskeys. But they do ship out, so sometimes you get lucky. Let's see, this one I thought I got from them. Maybe I did not get it from them. Give me 1 second. I thought I pulled it from. Let me check something out. Sorry about the delay. Here we go. Glencadam 21 was 188.99.
In
188.99. It was best 188.99 I ever spent. What do you think? Sounds.
yeah, I mean, I just put some water on it. It's holding its own. It's in certain ways gotten even better, like even more cask assertive with the vanilla and stuff. I mean, I'll just say it right now. I mean, this is one of the best whiskeys I've had. Period. For me and where I'm at in my journey, this is stellar. And at a 189 price point, I just want to point this out for frame of reference. My whiskey of the year last year was the Annock 24, and it was for precisely the same reasons. Is that it was an incredibly well-crafted whiskey, 46% non-chill natural, punched above its weight, and it was a $200 bottle. This at 189, again, if you know that you're beyond kind of your like, I was drinking, I'm 2 or 3 years into my Scotch journey, and you've developed your palate. I mean, this is a must-have whiskey. Plain and simple. Like I just think that to appreciate this, you have to have been, spend a little time with whiskey. I'm fortunate enough that I've been able to do that, and I am thoroughly blown away by this. I mean, this is at that price point. I mean, this is a 4.25 whiskey out of 5 for me. But at the price point of 189, if that's average, and this is a 4.5.
Yeah.
This is the best 21-year-old whiskey. And 21-year-old whiskeys are weird. It's a weird age. Like there's a lot of, like you get the 18 and then you kind of, which way do you go from there? This is, I mean, I don't know. This rivals the Annock 24.
Is 254
really
in Canadian bad, or is that good? I can't remember the exchange rate right now for Canada.
I'm not sure, but I'm telling you, this is a whiskey that I think anybody who just like really appreciates single malt Scotch needs to have.
Wow, 150 in Scottsdale, Arizona. That's crazy.
Buy without hesitation.
Yeah, you should buy all the ones they have there if you can afford it.
I mean, I'm looking at some 21s that I have over here. I got a Ben Romick 21. I got a Highland Park 21.
He found it for 170. Wow, I would jump all over.
Buy for sure. Buy for sure. Buy it for sure.
I don't think you'd be if you like watermelon, cantaloupe, if you like honeydew, if you like toffee and molasses and strawberries and raspberry. I mean, it's got white pepper. It's got a little bit of black pepper. It's got everything, man.
Just end the show now, bro. Like, it's over.
It was a throw.
I got a bottle of Highland Park 21 right here, which I paid $100 more than the average price you're saying right now. This shit doesn't even fucking come close.
Yeah.
It doesn't even come close, and it's still at 46%. It's not even in the same ballpark. The Aaron 21, I mean, now that's all sherry.
Right.
It's good,
that's the only one. To me, it's the only one that can kind of hang. But I know what you're saying for like a straightforward ex-bourbon, no frills, no bullshit, no 59.6 ABV. It's just a straightforward 46. You get the 21, you get the no chill filtering, you get the no coloring. What the fuck else do you want?
Dude, I mean, man, we might as well just cancel our shows for the rest of the year. It's over.
No, I tell you what. I tell you what. I'll give my score later, but there's one more dram on your horizon. I think you might actually like, maybe even more, possibly. I don't know, but I think it might be on the threshold. So don't count yourself out just yet.
I need this, man. I'm already looking for it. I mean, I'm
He's
on
already
the
buying
internet.
it.
I'm on the internet. I'm not even kidding. This is stupid.
I don't think I've ever had Eric during the actual show itself be so wowed that he's like, you know what, fuck y'all, I'm gonna buy my bottle now because I
Yo,
know all
dude,
you bitches.
they got this at Buy Right in Jersey for freaking 164, bro. I will be there this weekend.
Oh
Look at that.
wow,
This is. Are you kidding me?
160.
164? Do you
I got
realize
chipped
that a
off.
bottle of
Excuse
Allardyce
my,
is more
I shouldn't
expensive
say
than this?
that, but I,
A
I,
bottle
I
of
got ripped
Allardyce is more
off.
expensive than this.
I got ripped off if 189 and you're getting it for 160. What the hell, man? It's
Dude,
not right.
throw in the towel. I'm done.
And I have nothing against gypsies. I love Romanians, gypsies, the whole 9 yards. So don't take any offense to that. I'm not saying that. Oh my lord, that's
Dude, this is, I mean, look, Telex, I'm going to be honest with you. We've been doing this show almost a year since COVID started. And we've had some damn good drams, bro.
mm-hmm.
We've had some damn good drams. Like, no doubt. I mean, y'all can look back at our 1 year of this. I mean, and we're going to have another year. Give us the thumbs up if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't. Like, we've been tasting some seriously good whiskey, man. We've been doing some accessible stuff. We've been doing some rare stuff. This whiskey right here, I'm hard pressed to think about anything that we've had that's better.
But you only went to 4.5. I'm surprised.
4.5 on this. Yeah,
I'm surprised you didn't go to the 4.75 or the 5 on this one. I thought you were gonna like throw that.
It's not Brooklotti Black Art, but I mean,
No, I hear you there.
60. I mean, this is a 200. Like, if you poured this for me and said, "Yeah, I can sell you a bottle for $230," I'd buy it without hesitation if I had.
I would go 250 on this one. I really would.
Easily.
Easy 250. Yeah.
My whiskey of the year last year
don't tell the people at Andy Angus Dundee that we said this, but I would pay 250 for it.
Yeah, man, dude. Like, my whiskey of the year last year was the Anac 24, and the reason for that was twofold. Number one, it is fucking incredible whiskey. Number two, it's affordable insofar as a heavily aged Scotch can be. This is a $200 bottle. I'm looking right now and I'm seeing this for like $170, $180. Dude.
All day long. Yeah.
This is just jump shots, man.
Swish.
I need to have this in my life. I'm actually embarrassed. Like, I'm sad now. Because
why are you sad?
Because I have a Ben Romick 21 here, and I love me some Ben Romick. I've been getting into Ben Romick. There's just no way Ben Romick's going to be able to handle this. There's no way. This is killer, man. 4.5. 4.5.
All right.
Well, without hesitation.
I'm glad I still have a little
price. If this was price adjusted, it's a 4.25. Still worth buying. Killer whiskey. Killer whiskey.
I'm right with Eric on this one. I commend him for digging up all these notes that he was able to dig out, and I think this is like his best moment reviewing a whiskey too, because he was able to come in and get everything that I was able to get it, but I wasn't able to really verbalize some of the stuff that he was able to do, which I'm like, wow. I mean, this was a moment whiskey. I'm right up there with him. I cannot fault this. It's got the ABV. It's got the chill, no chill filtering. It's got the no coloring. It's got the age statement. Its craft is unbelievable. It's a straightforward ex-bourbon. They're not depending on anything else. There's no PX, no Oloroso, no crazy Madeira, no shifting of people fucking up and putting in the wrong vat and all that stuff. This is just straightforward. This is what we make whiskey, take it or leave it. And to me, it speaks cacophonous volumes of just like roar of this is our whiskey, bitches, and you're gonna recognize one way or another.
Yeah.
I'm seeing 4.75 for me. I cannot fault it. The only thing that could ever make it any better is more age, and that's
I mean, but maybe, like maybe,
maybe
maybe
if I
the
ever
only
can
thing I
afford
can
the
fault it for is that like the like bourbon overcoat is a little heavy. But
yeah.
again, like this is nitpicking. Like we're nitpicking around the edges here. Like this is just fuck it, man. Like, I'm not even gonna like.
The towel.
I mean, I'm not. What's his name? Richard Patterson. That
slash it over the shoulder.
If I saw this guy throw that whiskey on the ground, dude,
I'd cut his fucking arm off.
I'd be boxing him. I'd be like, you're a fool. There's there's nothing else to say, man. This is what it is. This is a killer dram, y'all. Like, and at the price that Telex is quoting, and what I'm seeing on Wine Searcher, you're talking sub $200 for this. Yo, get it now because this is. I'm pressed to go 475 because of this price. The price is stupid.
It is. I'm surprised.
Think about an equivalent malt that is made with the integrity that this is. Let's go Springbank. Let's go Glen Scotia. Dude, you're talking $500, $600, $700. I have
easy, yeah.
I have a 21-year-old Highland Park here in all its ostentatious, presentation and all this.
$700 later too.
$300-some bottle. That shit it's nothing compared to this. Nothing.
Yeah, it makes you once you have something like this.
Can you imagine this with some sherry? Can you imagine this if this had some sherry maturation?
That's why I'm kind of afraid to taste the 25 because I probably would have an actual orgasm.
For whomever is still in the chat after that comment, if you didn't notice, Telex and I have some high praise for Glencadam. Get yourself some Glencadam.
Yeah, I mean the 25 is the only place you could really go. It's like
we got to make it happen, bro.
Highland Park 21s are 300. I thought they.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I'm thinking about the 25. That's why I got.
That's the one that's like $1,000.
Yeah, at least 700. I'm like, that's crazy money for that. But yeah, 300 for a 21, is not like surprising. It's the quality of this for the 180 to 160 that you're finding. That's what we're like. Our jaws are on the floor about because it's like. Usually to get a whiskey this quality, you'd have to pay at least $300 or $400 for it. You would say, right, Eric?
Oh, I mean, dude, this is it's not Bruichladdich Black Art, but
that's the only one that can top it. Really, you're right.
I don't know what else.
And barely too.
I mean, I'm looking at my shelf and I'm thinking to myself, that Highland Park 21 is like piss water compared to this.
Piss water.
The Redbreast 21, the Redbreast 21, the Redbreast 21 could hold its own against this, but it's a different animal.
Right.
The Aaron 21, it's sherry cask. Aaron 21's good, but I still think this is better.
No, I agree with you. First, I mean,
I have a 25-year-old Ball Blair that's all ex bourbon. Can't fuck with this. This is better than that. Did you hear what I just said, by the way?
Was it the 99?
1990 Ball Blair vintage.
90, yes.
25-year-old. This whiskey, one of my favorite whiskeys of all time. Nah, dude, I'll take the Glencadam.
Yeah, Mike, what's his name? Mike, is it Highland? I want to call him Mike Highland. It's not his Highland. The guy from Scotch for Dummies that hangs out sometimes that was fell in love with that Ball Blair 90. If you like that, man, you got to get yourself a bottle of this Glencadam 21. I mean, by far. And it's cheaper, and that's the greatest thing about it, too. It's a lot cheaper. He's buying another bottle.
I'm looking right now. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
I don't blame you, man. And the sad thing is, look how much I have left of this. Look,
Dude,
oh, dude, I don't. Maybe I should like
dude,
put the,
I'm about to reassess my life after this whiskey.
I'm gonna
thinking about like I need to sell some stuff, man.
I'm gonna put the governor on this bottle. I'm gonna put one of those little sippy blockers. I've got a governor. I pour it. I can only get so much out of it, so I don't like run
You
through
want
this
to know
too
something about?
fast.
You want to know how good this whiskey is?
Uh-oh.
The only thing I can do now to pour myself a new dram is go heavily peated because there's nothing else I can drink that's gonna like be as interesting. Like I have to just go peat to like totally change the palate because I don't have a whiskey that can compete with this. I just don't.
This is a good.
This
is a good moment. This is a good moment before we close later on. Let's go find a whiskey. Not that it's better than this, but something that will cut the flavor and the experience. I can think of one for myself that's peated that I can pull out, but man, I don't think it's better than this whiskey, but I do think it's something that might cut the flavor. What are you thinking on your end? And I'll tell you what I'm thinking on my end.
I don't even know, man. I'm thinking maybe I'm going to go for the Paul John and see what happens. I don't know.
Oh, the Christmas edition, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe the Christmas edition.
How much of that do you have left?
Yeah, you're good.
As I say, I know how it is when we get kind of into our craft and we're pouring and we're like, oh shit, I better not pour too much because I still got to get Eric.
No, I got 2 bottles of it. You know what?
Okay,
I'm gonna go and knock 24.
Ooh.
I'm gonna stay in the wheelhouse. I'm gonna go and knock 24, and I'm just gonna see.
I'll be right back. Let me go pull a bottle real fast.
Yeah, do it. I'm gonna just go and knock 24. I mean, this is how many folks we still got in the chat? What's up, y'all? We got good 15 people still in. Right on. I'm for reference, Jason Coates said I paid $150 for my Bulldog 90. Dude, so did I. You got it what, 2 years ago? 2 years ago or further? Yeah, I remember when that was happening. I grabbed 2 of them. I'll tell you right now though. Neither Telex nor I work for Glencadam. Because it might sound like we do, but we don't, man. We don't.
What I miss? He's laughing.
I'm going for the I poured Enoch 24. And I'll tell you, man, though, the nose on this Enoch 24 still, I think it beats the Glencadam somehow. I don't know if it's going to work on the palate, but we'll see.
Ooh, that is a damn good bottle. I mean, for $250, you cannot go wrong with the Enoch 24, man. I hope it stays that way. $200. Wow, that's even cheaper than I thought.
Oh, that's so good. Those are neck and neck, man. That Glencadam 21. The thing about the Enoch is it just has a little bit more. It doesn't have as much of the bourbon overcoat. Like the bourbon notes are a little bit more, even more harmonious. But again, they're 3 years older. But we're splitting hairs. But man, dude, I just looked over and like my Glencadam 21 sample is gone.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
On the sad face.
I'll tell you what. Since we both enjoy this one, I might have to get another one if we ever do get to meet up again and have an actual. If we ever get a post-COVID show where we can actually do a show together, this would be a good celebratory after the show dram to share with each other. So I'll try to.
Yeah, for real. Well, we are going to meet up, man, because I have bottles for you.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, if we ever get to do a show together, like live kind of thing. Yeah. But that would be, we'll definitely have to enjoy this one again at another time because we both really loved this one a lot. I was trying to think of something that would cut it. The only 2 bottles, man, that I could think that would, and not to even think they would even be better, but just something that would get my mind off of it was either the Ardbeg 19 Trevon like first batch or this one, which I chose this puppy here, the Lagavulin 18 Fashil from 2018. So I'm gonna I'm going to have a little bit. We're going to be taking a look at this one. Eric and I are going to look at this one together. He already has a sample of this for later on the show. I'm not going to give any notes on it, but just to see if it can take my mind off the pain of not having any more tonight. It's the only thing that might cut it out.
I don't know what to say about that Glencadam. That hasn't been said. But you enjoy the Lagavulin, and you brought up a good point. So I'm going to give everybody a little sneak preview about what's coming up here.
Yeah.
So next week, we're going to be getting into another 21-year-old whiskey.
Yes.
Which is in Glengoyne. We're going to have Glengoyne 21, and we are also going to do the Glengoyne Teapot Dram Batch 7. After that, we got some Glenlivets. We got a Glenlivet Oloroso Nadura and a Glenlivet 21. And then Lagavulin 16 and 18. So we're going to be getting into some Lagavulin. So we got some good ones coming up, man. But I'll tell you right now, I'm looking at that Glengoyne and that Glenlivet 21. After we just had that Glencadam 21 and what we just experienced with that, these whiskeys are going to have to show up, because that Glencadam 21 is one of the best whiskeys I have ever had.
We might have to wait till the Lagavulin 18 before we get the Glencadam out of our minds.
Yeah, totally.
It might take that while, but that's going to be a great show, the 16 and the 18 Fishfield from 2018.
And we shouldn't bury the lead. We're going to be doing an incredible, we're going to be doing a really, really exciting St. Patrick's Day Eve show, where we're going to be doing Napogue Castle 14-year-old triple wood, or double wood, or twin wood, it's called. And then in hour number 2, Redbreast 21. So that is a 21-year-old whiskey that might be able to fuck with this Glencadam 21. But as you heard it tonight, we did 2 Glencadams. We did the 13, 4.25 out of Telex, 4 from me. We did the Glencadam 21, 4.75 from Telex, 4.5 from me. Get yourself some Glencadam.
Also, after the St. Patrick's show, there's a couple really special things we're going to be doing. The Balvenie 21 Port, and the Balvenie Peat Week 14. And I'm excited. I think this is my goal. Now, my goal is to get Eric a better whiskey than the Glencadam 21. And I have a feeling that I won't guarantee that it'll top it for him, but I have a feeling that it might get close with the Edgedour 21. We'll be doing the Edgedour show, and the Edgedour is something special, man. I cannot wait till you get to taste that one. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, dude. First week of April, we're going Edgedour. I have a 10-year-old cast strength Edgedour, and he's got a 21-year-old. We're going to do a tasting on that. So
that's going to be great.
You guys can all join us. And, if you haven't yet, subscribe to Telex and Whiskey Tech. Shoot me a sub at Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews and give us a thumbs up.
I think you're going to really like that Edgedour, man. It says something different. And that cast strength that you brought, I'm really happy about, because I've never had a cast strength Edgedour before. Minus this 21 is pretty high on the ABV. So I'm really curious to see how they do the younger stuff at a high ABV. It's going to be really special. I never had a bad Edgedour or a Balakin bottle, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I got a couple Balikins too that we can get into. I have this one, which comes in this little box. This is a Balakin straight from the cask. It's a 10-year-old from 2009, 60.3%. Really good. And then I got another one, man. This is an 11-year-old. But that one's sherry. This is all ex-bourbon. This is an 11-year-old cask from Balakin, 58.8. And so we'll be able to do – Balakin is the heavily peated line from Edgedour, which is a distillery owned by Gordon MacPhail. Or is it Cadenhead? No, it's Gordon MacPhail. Yeah. We're going to get into some Edgedour. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up. Would appreciate y'all giving us the thumbs up. Hit the sub. We will be doing a whole bunch of fun stuff. over the next.
Hey, Stephen Connor, good to see you, man.
What's
He
up,
was
Stephen
working
Connor?
late tonight. Working late, but I guarantee you, man, Stephen, you should stay tuned. Stephen, if you don't already have this Glencadam 21,
You
you
did
have
it, man.
to
Did
get it.
it. Buy
It's
it
that good.
now. Bin. It is unbelievably good.
Unbelievably good. I mean, across the board. And stay tuned for the Edgerdauer show, Stephen. I think that you're probably already a Edgerdauer fan. I think he's got a couple really dark bottles, but that'll be a good one if he doesn't have that one already. The 21 is something else, man. And that cast strength 10 is going to be really fun to take a look at that as well.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I'm so excited about getting some of these, and we'll be doing those Highland Park shows that we talked about later on down the line after we meet and try to get some samples traded out here in March. And it's going to be that Kilkerran 16. I'm really excited about, man. That's going to be something else. I have a feeling.
Oh yeah, man. I got that thing sitting hot and waiting for you, buddy.
Because even though I did prefer the 13 Glencadam over the Kilkerran 12, I'm wondering how this is going to face off with the Kilkerran 16. It's got a few years.
Yeah, that's a good question. We'll get into it. It's going to be fun. So yeah, next week, man, just so y'all know, we are going heavy on Glengoyne. We are going to do the Glengoyne. It's a distillery-only teapot dram. This is a cast strength, 59.9%. And then we are going to do the 21-year-old Glengoyne. So we got some fun Glengoyne stuff coming up next week. I hope y'all can join us.
I wish I could do the 25. I just couldn't get it this go around, but maybe some other time if
I'll
we
do
do
the 25, and we'll do this at some point for sure.
that'd be awesome, man.
For sure.
I really
All right, man.
appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight. It's been awesome as usual, and I cannot wait till already for next Tasty Tuesday.
Yeah. Hope to see everybody there, man. It's been real. We had a great show tonight, man. It's 2 really, really strong whiskeys out of Glencadam. Keep your eyes peeled for those when you're out at the shop. These are damn good whiskeys.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like a lot of us, will bitch and moan and groan about some distilleries like, Macallan and Dalmore and whatnot about the craft. And this is where the craft is done correctly. And this is where you got to put your money where your mouth is, because if you don't, they're not going to keep doing, investing in the craft and doing all these great whiskeys. So you got to at least take a chance and try it. And I'd be surprised if you guys did not like it. That's how good this stuff is, really, on both bottles. Both bottles are stellar, and I'm excited to try some of their other ones that I haven't even tried before, like that 19 Oloroso. I mean, that sounds damn good.
You got to get our hands on that, man.
I've never had a Sherry Glencadam, so that's going to be, if we ever do another show for Glencadam in the future, I would love to do that 19 Sherry and something else that we haven't tried, from these guys. So,
agreed.
Awesome,
definitely. All right, man. Everybody stay safe, be well, wear a mask, don't get yourself COVID. We're nearing the finish line, man.
We made it this far, guys. Don't fuck it up now.
Exactly. Much love and respect. Telex. Sign off, brother. Much love.
Where's my sanitizer? My hands are so raw. I wash them so much. I'm surprised I have skin left.
Yeah, that's real. All right, friends. Everybody stay safe, be well, man. We'll catch you next week.
Slanjava, guys.